Hey, what's going on, everybody? Appreciate you tuning in. We are back with another edition of Passion and Precision with myself and Jory. Before we get into kind of a breakdown of what we'll talk about tonight, gotta ask co-host, of course, uh, how are you doing tonight, Jory?
I'm pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm good. Look, as I was telling you before we came on here, I had to spend a few minutes going back and forth with somebody on a video I did, but that's why we do this, right? Create the conversation.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, so tonight we're going to talk NBA once again, as we're now a month into the season, as crazy as that sounds. So, Jory and I have some observations that we've made so far on the season. We'll talk about Adam Silver once again trying to be innovative, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. We'll talk about that. And then we'll get into some NFL. We're going to talk about, I think, a couple of our favorite teams with their issues within, and a teaser. One of us had a really good week with our picks. So you have to stick around to see who that was. I could give it away, but I'm not going to. So, with that, let's go ahead and get into the first topic, which, as I said, first month observations. Like I said, I believe it's literally a month as of yesterday. So, we've seen a lot of these teams for 15, 16 games or so. A lot of interesting things have been happening. Some teams have done better than we thought, some worse, some players having issues we weren't expecting. So, Joy, I guess I'll let you kick it off with observations that you have made so far.
One, I'm trying to find them because I had them written down. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good.
Um, yeah, I literally had them wrote down and I can't find them. That's making me a little upset. But I'll try to go off the top of the dome.
Yeah.
Um, One thing I noticed, I'll just be a homer real quick.
Hold on. I think Jory might be frozen. Give us a second there. Yeah. All right. As she's coming back in, I'll I'll start with one of mine. Oh, here she is. She's right back. Hey,
This internet, I
look,
think is
it's
gonna ruin my life.
something we can't control. Internet.
Now you can still continue because I kind of want to
Oh,
find
okay.
my stuff.
Yeah. So I'll say one observation, I guess, to kind of go down the line that you were going down, Homer, to start with. I think the Celtics are primed to repeat. I think that what Joe Mazzulla is doing with the roster in playing some of the young players, giving them actual minutes to lessen the load on Tatum and Brown and some of these other key rotation guys, I think is a brilliant move when you're in the second year defending your title. You kind of have to do things like that to, I guess, break up, I guess, some of the stagnation that could happen with the team. And look, the shooting has been there. Tatum's new form seems like it's working for him. So I'm encouraged with it. I know Cleveland's gotten off to a really good start, but the Celtics seem like a team that's locked in their title defense, and I'm happy with that.
All right, I'll do a point, and then you can continue because I still can't find my stuff, and it's making me a
Okay.
little mad. But as far as my Lakers are concerned, JJ Redick is doing a very good job. I will say He's been able to do the unthinkable, which is bench D'Angelo, and he don't throw it. When the D'Angelo Russell experiment is over, I'll be happy. Project 2.0, I'll be happy. Um,
Hmm.
Anthony Davis has been pretty playing phenomenal, even though he's had his little mix and bruises. But for the most part, he's been there. The one thing about the Lakers that's really starting to tick me off a little bit, and I know what I was getting into when they drafted the guy, but I didn't think it was going to be like this. This is a whole new level. If they don't leave Bronny alone, leave him alone. Like let him disappear into the G League and develop. And I understand right now he's not playing well. That's the point. He don't play well now. He learns from his mistakes and now he develops. And then in a year or two, he'll be ready to join the real rotation. That and the fact that in the beginning they were just playing with him, toying with him. I'm gonna activate him here. I'm gonna activate him there. No, sit league and stop playing. I don't want to see Bronny playing meaningful minutes. I don't even want to see Bronny playing in the mop up duty. Let him develop in peace. Otherwise, I can't really complain. I cannot complain much from what I'm seeing from my Lakers. It's a lot better than what I actually expected.
Okay. I mean, look, I can agree that Connect has been good. He's been pleasant
I
to
forgot
watch.
to mention him.
I
He's special.
look, he looks like a guy who got a lot of experience in college, and that has helped him adapt to the NBA. I completely agree with the Bronny stuff. I hate that it overshadowed the offseason. It's still kind of lingering with the regular season, even though Anthony Davis is having a really good start to the year. I mean, LeBron is doing his thing, but even with LeBron, it's like LeBron's
He's getting
performance
on my
is
nerves too.
overshadowing Anthony Davis at times. And yeah,
He's getting on my nerves too. Mister, he sees the negativity that Bronny's bringing because on social media. So now I'm gonna announce that I'm taking a social media break. Just do it. You're not that important. Shut up. I'm
yeah,
gonna go away. Go away. Retire. You're 40 years old acting like this.
he should. But we already know that they talked all these years about Bronny. The minute Bronny happened, it's all about Bryce now. Like, this is something that's just going to be what it is. Yeah, mm, nothing much you can really say about that. Um,
If Bryce ends up a Laker for what however reason, I might just blow my top. I just might blow my top.
I mean, you have JJ who has shown the ability to get on LeBron and do certain things like that. So maybe he's the coach that could navigate the potential circus. I'll say.
He can. He's navigating it pretty well.
Yeah, I will say, kind of surprised that he's been this good as a coach right away. So kudos to him.
When will he get his
Um,
first pay? Or did he already get one? I think he already got one.
Actually, that's a good question. I think he has gotten one.
I don't think it took long.
No, but I feel like JJ is a fiery guy. Like he was like that at Duke. He was somewhat like that during his career. So I don't think it's shocking for him to get a tech. I feel like he'll be the ones who will strategically get one every once in a while. Just I don't think he'll be one of those that you have to worry about every game just losing his stuff on the sideline and going crazy. I don't think he's one of those.
Speaking of technical fouls, Draymond Green.
Yeah.
I thought last year he lost his mind. I think this year he took it to a whole different level. Like pulling on Edie's Achilles like that.
Yeah, he's just a random guy. I don't.
If I
I
was
don't.
Edie, I would have swung on him. I would have swung and
Maybe if he had
connected.
maybe if he had a few years under his belt, he might have. I think as a rookie, he kind of just
Yeah, still, that's your Achilles. You need that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do something to it to end your rookie year, you might as well go down swinging. Swinging.
True.
I'm just saying, important
Mm-hmm.
on purpose. He did not need to do that. And then he already gets leeway from talking to the refs cuckoo because they don't throw him out. And then he gets on the floor for doing this type of crap. At this point,
Yeah.
Draymond knows what he is. He had mental health therapy. He's heard everybody get on his butt about that. Can't nobody cover for him, and he still does stupid stuff like this, pulling on somebody's Achilles. Man, if I was Edie, I would have put my foot in his face. Pull on that.
Right. Although, an observation I did have, leading, I guess, piggybacking off of that, the Warriors' demise apparently was lasted for a year. They look like a playoff team for
Clay
sure.
Thompson was the problem.
And that kind of reminds me like Ray Allen's last moments in Boston, where you could tell there's some uneasiness with him on the court, and it felt like it was harder and harder to get them more involved. And Ray Allen moved on to Miami and played well. Clay moving on to Dallas. He had his moment, going back to Golden State and playing. But yeah, that's what I mean. As bad as that might be, if you're a Clay Thompson fan, it seems like by removing him, it's allowing more of these guys to play freer and have set roles in Steve Kerr's rotation. And because of that, they're playing the way that they are right now.
And I
So
was Golden State was in my observations as well because I'm like, they've been playing very well, better than I expected. Considering
mm,
where this team was last year,
yeah,
that was an unexpected surprise. This is why I needed my notes, man, because I had all of this written down.
I mean, but without your notes, you're doing well. You're doing fine. You got it. Um, I will. Okay, so I guess I'll start another observation. The East as a whole has been a bit disappointing because if you look outside of Boston and Cleveland, I think a lot of teams are now starting to kind of figure their way out, but I was not expecting a lot of these teams with the slow starts that they did have. And
Like
I'm looking
Philadelphia,
at, yes,
Milwaukee.
I've never been the biggest Sixers guy, one because I am a Celtics fan, but I've never liked their roster as a whole. I did not expect this. The Bucks, I could see the struggles as an older team, but yeah, not like this. The Knicks, all their hype, they start off slow. They look like they're now getting it together. Just on down the line, the Pacers falling back after them showing
Tyrese
promise last.
Halliburton, what is going on with him? What happened?
That's a
You
good
got the
question.
beginning of the year. Hey, you got the beginning of the year heebie-jeebies. You a little rusty or something? But it's been a month, so I'm really not giving you that excuse yet anymore. You get
Hmm.
that the first month of the season.
Yeah, I mean it's so bad that I'm seeing conversations online about T.J. McConnell being a better option at point than Tyrese Halliburton. Like, if you're a Pacers fan, that's not a conversation you're expecting to have
Mm-mm.
this early this season after what you thought you were building off of last year.
And if I asked you who was at the bottom of the East last year, you would have said Charlotte or Detroit
or Washington. Yeah.
or Washington. This
Mhm.
year, the honor right now goes to the 76ers. And a good portion of the blame and the dysfunction that's going on over there, Joel Embiid, you're not playing well. You're still doing that thing where you just flop unnecessarily. Who the hell flops at the free throw line? It's a free throw. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You goofball. Like, come on. 7 foot tall throwing his body like that. I should not know what the soles of your shoes look like consistently.
Hmm.
And you have nerve to sit here and get on whoever leaked the fact that you got that Tyrese Maxey got on you for being late to everything. To call them a POS.
Yeah. I,
You like to troll and you don't have a lot of success to back up your trolling,
hmm
sir, other than an MVP that you cried about.
That's true. I, once again, as a Celtics fan, I love seeing their dysfunction. But for Philadelphia, a city that like I know is just starving for the Sixers to be good, to get them a title, something like this, like they need to start really sitting down, pros and cons of it, and wondering, is Joel Embiid actually worth it at this point? Because yes, he is a dominant player, true, but what has that gotten you so far? It gets you watching the injury report every day, hoping he's not on it. It gets you hype going into the playoffs, but early exits. It
Hmm.
gets you, like you said, the flopping and a lot of the unnecessary stuff on the court, while you have a young player in Tyrese Maxey, who's seemingly since he's been there, he's always had to deal with something because he had to deal with the James Harden stuff when he came in, and that kind of changed the way he played. Now this season, it's this with a Joel Embiid, and they also have Jared
Right.
McCain, the guy that they drafted as well. Like if you're Philly, build around those two. As long as Embiid's there, he's going to cast a shadow on everything.
Does he not realize that if what Ben Simmons did to him, he's doing to Maxie in the Kane? Does he not understand that he's doing that to a lesser extent, just making it toxic all the way around?
Yeah,
Do
and
unto
Ben
you
Simmons.
as you have unto others.
Yeah, and I know you brought up Ben Simmons, that man's stealing money again.
Oh yeah,
It's just robbery what he's doing.
and you
Yeah,
would think.
Brooklyn stuck with him pretty much.
Remember when I was healthy, huh?
Yeah.
People forgot when I was healthy what I did. Okay, Mister Pass up a wide open layup in a playoff game.
Now he's
My
like
back hurt. Ow.
he's airballing hook shots. Like it's brutal.
All right, Airball Simmons, Brick City Simmons, whichever one you want to call him. He's
Yeah.
gonna roll with all those bricks.
hmm
Remember when I was healthy? You were barely available. What are you talking about? Just delusional. Like these athletes just get on these microphones and just spew out nonsense. Just delusional. I get you have to be a little crazy enough to tell yourself things, to get yourself motivated to do some of the stuff that y'all do or whatnot. But when you say these things on the microphone, you look stupid. Stop it. And there's
Yeah.
another person who's been doing that we're gonna talk about again.
Mm-hmm.
And he just don't know when to shut his mouth. I'm like, I
Yeah.
wish somebody would hit him.
Yeah. It's just crazy how. Uh, yeah. I don't know. I know another team I want to talk about. I have a feeling they were probably in your notes as well. Denver.
Oh, that overrated mess.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jokic is playing. Is supposed to play tonight. He's missed a couple of games, but they find themselves at the 5 seed. They're 8-5. They're above 500, so it's not like Philly bad, but it just seems like it's another season,
It's bad.
right? But it seems like another season where Jokic once again is going to have to put together like 65, 70 nights of being completely dominant on the floor, and when he's off the floor, they're just crossing their fingers and hoping. The years now where they've lost key bench players, it's like catching up to them every year. It seems like this year could be the year where maybe it falls in on them a bit more, and I think they'll still be a playoff team, but I don't think they are that championship contender that they've been the past couple of years. When you talk about Western Conference teams who could win a title, the Nuggets are in that conversation. This year, I don't know if you can put them in there unless you are a Nuggets fan or you are just holding out all kinds of hope
I
because
knew
there's
exactly what type
definitely
of
something wrong
season.
in this.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. That was the last thing I was saying. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I knew what type of season it was when they lost KCP. And guess who they replaced him with? Russell Westbrook. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is going to be a flop.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what's going on with Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., but sometimes watching them is like watching a good version of the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
So like I, but this is what Mike Malone and his slug behind get talking about a dynasty after one.
Yeah.
Sir, hush. Knowing that your front office does counterproductive things.
Yeah.
That's blatantly in your against your best interest at heart. Hush. But we're the
Mhm.
Lakers' daddy. And ever since he said that, what happened?
Yeah. Now, one thing, hopefully for them, their last game against Memphis, they did win, and they got 27 out of Jamal Murray, and he shot well from the field. That's something that he's going to need to do consistently. Michael
No
Porter
more
Jr.
tantrums.
gave you, hmm? Yes,
No more
yes.
tantrums.
And if you do, don't pick up anything. Uh, Porter Jr. had 24 and 11. Those are performances that you need more consistently. And Russ, look, he turned back the clock against Memphis and got a triple double, 12, 10, and 14. Obviously, he's not going to do that every night, but he has to show that he can bring something when he gets into the game. He played 32 minutes. Yeah, 12, 10, and 14. The shooting was okay. You know,
Yeah.
5 for 12, 1 for 4 from 3. You don't want to shooting threes anyway, but those three can give you something like that night in and night out. I think Denver would be okay. I still don't think with this group that they're gonna come out of the West or anything, but they can be okay.
From one to another, I knew Minnesota was going to be missing Cat.
Yeah,
Knew it. I'm like, because what I don't know what they got going on over there, but it is not working. Julius Randle, do
that's
I
like
need to
that's
say
like
anything else?
you have to pause when you talk about Julius Randle.
Do I really need to say anything else? It's not working.
Yeah.
It's either Ant and some of those role players, but the players that they picked up in that trade were trash and they got swindled. That was a bad trade.
Yeah. At least as of right now, I guess things could change, but as of right now, it looks like a slam dunk for the Knicks.
Mm-hmm. No, like I feel bad for Ant.
Yeah, yeah. Just, I mean, I feel like any young player like that, you do have to feel for them when management makes a change of that caliber to their team, and the team struggles a bit. I mean, once again, well, they're in the tenth. They're the 10th seed. They're 8-7, same record as the Kings, and a half game better than the Spurs. Which I guess the Spurs are an interesting case so far, but yeah, Timberwolves are down there with the Mavericks, the Clippers, the Grizzlies. Like they're all kind of in the same area. And if you're Minnesota, you were not expecting yourselves to be down there. So they are a team that probably could use a string of good games right now.
Pleasant surprise, Houston. Even though I kind of knew this was on the precipice of coming.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of knew this was coming, how they ended last year. But they've been a pleasant surprise. I love what Ime Udoka has done with that team. I will mention that.
Mm-hmm.
They're starting to take on his little personality. I love that. I love when teams take on their coach's personality. I think it's cute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I agree.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, not y'all big scrappy and sassy a little
Mm-hmm.
bit. I loved it.
Yeah, like the league needs personalities in their coaches. So I agree with you. I like. We talked earlier. I like Redick has a little fire to him. Missoula, Udoka. I mean, like Thibodeau with his old school style, like he's a personality. Like I feel like that's what the league needs. Like, because I don't look. I know you've seen Hawks basketball, whatever. The Mike Woodson types who just stand there, arms folded during the whole game. Like I can't stand that. You gotta give me some life on the
Just
sideline.
saying like this. I'm like, why would I get on 20 to watch this?
Yeah,
Why would I do that?
yeah. Okay. Uh, I mean,
Milwaukee.
okay,
I
yes.
don't know what's going on over
Can't believe we
there.
almost forgot about
I
them.
do
Yeah.
know that they're old. I know that they're old.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Doc is docking. I know. I get it. And I feel for Milwaukee fans. But this is Giannis's guy. And he literally asked for this. And I know they're over the trade talks. Giannis started that.
Mm-hmm.
He literally started that by baseless trade talk for no reason other than to bring it up. Like even when he was just being hypothetical and we could get traded, I'm da 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 da. I'm like, you saying this like you the only person on the squad that can't get traded, right?
Right.
You speaking for everybody else like you're not Mr. Untouchable.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting on my nerves. Talking about if you don't want to be here, then you can get out. This is what you asked for.
Yeah.
You wanted Drew out, and the year that he got out, you went and got him a ring. Ta-da! Fool.
I mean, look, Giannis is a personality. I mean, I was just talking about it with coaches. I feel like players as well. Personalities help the league, and Giannis is definitely one of them. And yeah, sometimes he can be a bit much. I guess I'll say to put it nicely. but I don't know. Like he's just being himself, which I can respect. But yeah, if you're in the front office, whenever you see Giannis in front of a microphone, you gotta brace yourself because you don't
Yes, you
know.
gotta hold your breath.
Yeah, because whether or not you're gonna get fired up Giannis, where he'll say, "If you don't want to be here, get out," or you get sarcastic Giannis, who with a straight face will joke. So then you're like, I don't know to take this guy seriously or not. But yeah, and then he'll be on the court, and he'll have a dominant performance. But then other nights it's like something's missing. So Milwaukee, hey, they got Doc Rivers for this. This is a Doc Rivers type of team. Doc Rivers loves veteran teams.
They have a young piece. I don't know what his. I forgot his name, but he's playing really well, and I'm surprised that Doc is actually giving him minutes. But
I want to say, is it AJ? Hold on, I can tell you. I can tell you because I know who you're talking about. I don't want to. I don't want to mess up his name.
it's on the tip
Jackson,
of my tongue, and I can't think.
Andre Jackson Jr.
I think so. Yep.
Yeah,
They play him more.
I think it's the guy that he put in the lineup over Torian Prince.
Well, his first problem is they got Torian Prince.
I
I don't know
know.
what he showed y'all with the Lakers that made y'all sign him,
hmm
but that's the issue right there. Y'all
Yeah.
getting the full Prince experience. Good luck with that foolishness. He plays better than Prince. I like that. Give him more minutes. Leave Prince on the bench so he can do nothing like he always does.
hmm I mean, look, Prince will give you a couple of performances a month where you'll say, okay, but Prince is not a guy that should have set minutes. You cannot do that with a guy like him. If he's playing and he's locked in and he's on, fine. If he struggles early, you gotta
Hold
pull him.
on.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
thing is, the way you said that, I'm like, and a month is like 30 something days. The fact that you get a couple of good performances in a month of 30 days,
I, I mean, he's on the team. They're gonna play him. Like that's what you got to expect from him.
mm,
I was actually looking to see their last game, which was Wednesday when they beat the Bulls. What did
they
Torian
got
Prince
their
do?
own issues.
Yeah, Torian Prince had 0 points in 25 minutes. So yeah,
So he didn't do jack squat but cardio. Ran around for damn near 30 minutes.
he
Cardio
got 5 rebounds. 5 rebounds. That was his contribution. Like,
and jumping up and down. What was the
yeah,
point?
right. 25 minutes seems too long for that, but they
No
won.
points and
Like,
5 rebounds.
yes.
25 minutes. What was he doing in La La Land, just lollygagging and just matriculating on down the court? What is he doing?
I
Like,
hope he was playing good defense.
he paid 30 minutes. I'm rounding up clearly.
hmm
And me, you, and my dog Bella got the exact same amount of points. What?
Yeah,
Make it make sense.
that's what I'm saying. Doc will rely on veteran players. He's gonna do that. He just will. He's set in his ways like that. It's one of the reasons why he didn't want to stick around in Boston when the big three were clearly
He said he
phasing
had
out.
30 minutes. I would have got to his.
Right. Exactly. Um, I mean, is there any other teams you could think of that you needed to touch on? I feel like we touched on all the big boys.
Detroit's a lot better than what they used to be. They're already at half their win total from last year. um,
True. Yes. Well, it seems like they were destined for that. Like at some point they had to. They
Cleveland is
had.
going to fall off. I'm just warning y'all now. They're going to fall off. They
Yes.
always do.
Hmm. I mean, it's expected. It's hard for them to keep up that pace. But I do think with this start, I think some people are going a bit overboard in terms of their viability as a champion.
Yeah.
I think they have the makeup to do it. I just think they have questions that I need answered in the playoffs before I give them that credit. Like I don't want in the playoffs for them to turn into a walk the ball up and watch Donovan Mitchell play because they're not going to beat top teams in the East playing that way. I need to see Darius Garland produce consistently against top tier teams in the East, like the Celtics. For some reason, he can't shoot against the Celtics. That's a problem. And playing through Evan Mobley seems nice in the regular season, but will they do it in the playoffs? If they can show me those three things and not fall into the habits, then yeah, I think they have the roster makeup to win a title. They just have to show me first.
If they come in the playoffs and play like a bad bowl of mashed potatoes, they going home.
Yes, that's yes. True.
That's why when it comes to Cleveland, talk to me in April.
Mm-hmm.
Because how
That's
they play right now is not going to be how they play in April.
right.
Even though you can say that for all the teams. But some teams are better at sustaining kind of stable levels of continuity
Mm-hmm.
than others. Cleveland is one of those that they tend to fall off a cliff,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the middle of the season. They could be playing some of the best basketball in 1 month, and then they act like they don't know what a basketball is the next two.
Yes. That's yeah. That's fair.
So when it
Yeah.
comes to them, March and April is going to be big. Because if you go into those 2 months with inconsistent play, or they're either backsliding, they're going to have some issues.
Yeah. What's going on, Key? So I will say
You know,
that we have been, live for a little bit, and like the Facebook stream on the page, like just connected. So that's why, yeah, Key's now coming in. But appreciate it, Key. Facebook was being weird for a little bit, but we have been live on YouTube and everything. So those of you watching, jump in the comments, give us your thought on everything that we talk about. But yeah, so like I said, I think we've hit on every team. I think we can move. Still sticking in the NBA, but Adam Silver, love him or hate him, I got to give him the credit in that he's always trying to do something to fix issues within the league. Players doing load management, he lightens up the schedule with the back to backs and everything in the 3 games and 4 night stuff, hoping to curb it. Has it worked? Some cases, yes, some no. He sees how people hate the All Star game, have made jokes of it, and he goes, you know what? Let's try something. So this is now no longer like reportedly. They are actually going through with a format change in the NBA's All Star game. So gone. All right. So they went East West. They did the whole Sandlot draft thing that people got over after the first year. Now it is basically a round robin type of tournament where uh, players will be voted in. So you'll get like the 24 players that get the All Star nod. Those 24 players will be split up into 3 teams of 8. and then the fourth team will be the team that wins the basic tournament for like the Rising Stars game that switched to it's like four legends each with their own team. Whichever team wins that becomes the fourth team in the All Star tournament, and they'll play against each other. One versus four, two versus three. The two teams that win meet each other to be the like All Star champion or something. I think one question was, well, how will they determine like when the game ends or whatever? And they're basically going to do, I believe the first round game will be up to 40. Second round games will go up to like 25. So no more sitting around watching like 198 to 185 games. So with the change, are you for it? Or would you like the
I'm a,
traditional East versus West?
who wants to sit through and watch through absolutely no effort? East versus West literally became, I'm gonna fancy around, do whatever I want. No, I'm not gonna try.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a spit in the face to be in an All Star. That's how they were playing. So, and the fact that, and I heard that Steph Curry and a few other players actually had input into this, and this is what they came up with. So engagement won't be an issue. They'll actually want to play, and
All
it'll
for it.
bring out like street ball,
Mm-hmm.
like little street ball tendencies. I'm like, I'm loving it. I'm all for it as long as they're engaged and they actually want to do it, and they don't put this a half-ass product assignment in for the All Star like they did last year. Like last year, and I tell you, I turned it off after two quarters. I'm like, oh no 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 no. I will not be watching the rest of this because all y'all are going to do is sit there and score. I'm not going to try to stop anybody from scoring. You're walking and jogging up the court. Half y'all look like, blah. I'd rather be somewhere else. I would
Yeah.
not. So I'm very excited to see it.
Yes. I think he has a great point. It's going to be like NBA Street. And I'm here. I do want to know, I guess, how they'll split the 24 up. And, will they do, how will they do coaches for the teams, like stuff like that. I'm sure we'll get more details as we get closer. Because I am kind of looking up right now to see if they. Yes, I was right. It was the first round will be to 40 points. After that, it'll be to 25. So that's fine. Basically, like the Elam ending, just starting with that. And like you talked about last year, Adam Silver said everyone was disappointed what they saw last year. It wasn't just the league, it was the players as well, and the Players Association. I think we all did what we thought we could, thinking we would, particularly in Indiana, sort of the heartland of basketball, give it the college try and see a more competitive game, which obviously did not happen last year. Which, I mean, it was basically like players are having interviews. I know I saw like, I think Halliburton was having an interview with Obama, and he was like, what are y'all doing with this All Star game? Like, what was that? Y'all need to put in more effort. I mean,
Oh
you got
yeah,
a
everybody was
president
catching
telling you that, like, that's a problem.
heat. Everybody was catching heat, and rightfully so.
Yes.
But if Barack Obama is telling you you need to try harder, don't that hit a little different in your heart?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that hit just a little different?
It should. And look,
And to do
it
better,
brought on real change.
I promise you, because if Obama told me to do better to my face,
Mm-hmm.
promise you I'm in school the next day.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So, like you said, the fact that Steph Curry and other players had input. Now the players have no reason to half speed this or no show it. Like this is clearly what y'all wanted. So now y'all have to show up and compete. Because I still think the 3-point contest, like that's obviously the highlight of like the Saturday night stuff. The dunk contest we'll see because that's another one that's like on life support. I necessarily don't know how you fix that at this point. but maybe with this, maybe more, I don't know, maybe more high profile players will be invested in the dunk contest. Maybe players are now talking to each other like we're actually going to sit here and try to fix All Star Weekend, and with the All Star Game and the dunk contest being the two issues that are plaguing the league right now, we'll see. I don't know. There's hope, I guess. All right, but yeah, like I said, Adam Silver is not one to not try something out, and I can definitely respect that about him for sure. Let's see. Let's go ahead now. Look, we spent about a little over 45 minutes with NBA. Let's go ahead and get into some NFL. And we got to start with our favorite team to discuss. Well, two people more notably, Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons, down in good old Dallas. Well, I think Micah we alluded to a little bit before, but I know that this is probably a part where you might want to rant a little. So I feel like I must take the step back and let you go ahead with this one.
Will somebody please stuff both of their mouths with cotton balls? Bro, make them shut up. Jerry, I think he ain't all the way there anymore. He don't make any sense. What is he
Yeah,
talking about? And then
your
you got
guess is
old Michael. I'm like, every time Michael Parsons, I hear an excerpt of what he says, or I actually go to the video and watch it himself so I can get full context. That's his goddamn problem. He don't be speaking in terms of context. He just be saying stuff. And what he says is 9 times out of 10 gonna be in direct contrast of what my eyes, your eyes, and what people with common sense see. And it makes him look stupid.
mm-hmm.
Like I then like the previous one that really set me off because me and Micah are not that far apart in age.
Mm-hmm.
Micah's how old? 24? Let me look that up.
Actually, that's yeah, I think so. 25.
He's 25. He was like, I was in middle school or elementary school when Mike McCarthy won that Super Bowl, so I wouldn't know. I was 10 and I know that. So what are you talking about? And I remember that because they played the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was a snow game, I think. Was it?
Actually, I don't remember with the weather.
But yeah, it was versus the
I mean,
Steelers.
you have the right
And
opponent for sure.
but if I know that, I know you should know that. Because everybody pays attention to the Super Bowl, you big dummy. Just head full of air. Just be talking just to talk. And Trayvon Diggs be sitting over there looking like a dummy too, just straight face, like, I don't know, don't get on me. Saying all of that stupid crap.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, bro, at this point, somebody need to take a paper towel with some rubbing alcohol on it and make him go to sleep. Just knock him out. I'm tired of hearing him talk. Like, because every time he talks, he says at least one thing that's gonna piss me off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's bad enough you've been injured and you haven't been quiet with your injury. You've been spewing stuff while you haven't been playing. And that's been making me mad too. Because I'm like, you're saying all of this foolishness. I'm like, if you ain't on the field, please shut up.
Mm-hmm.
We're a damn good football team. Where? In your head? He really said that on a podcast after they just got blown out.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you kidding me? Your offense stinks. Your offensive line stinks. Your defense stinks, including you, Mr. Two Tackles. The defensive line stinks. The bright spot is the special teams. And that is pretty much only to Brandon Aubrey and Devontae Turpin. Congratulations, you saved the team. Your coaching stinks. Your ownership stinks. But according to you, we're a good football team. In your wildest dreams, Micah. You get on my nerves.
No, look, I think that's well said. Look, when it comes to the Cowboys, they clearly are a team that can't deal with the losing right now. And it's like every week we get more of an insight into like legit
Why?
serious issues within that locker room. And you could say it kind of stems from Micah just having complete leeway to just, say, kind of do whatever. You have a team where their quarterback is now down. They're playing Cooper Rush, who's not that good, but I guess he's the best of what they have. They have a coach in Mike McCarthy, who I feel like is not a terrible coach, but if you look at just what he's doing in Dallas, you would think he stinks as a head coach. I think it's more about the situation he's in. You have star wide receiver in CD Lamb, who I feel like during that blowout this past week, he was like on the sideline, kind of walking around carefree. And it's like nobody
No,
on the team.
considering what he did after,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't give a damn.
Yeah.
Considering what he did right after that,
Yes.
and that's another one that might tick me off too. Because I'm like, y'all couldn't even wait 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Right after a blowout, within hours of a blowout win, you're not even in the hot or cold tub or nothing. You're filming a music video in the club. And then y'all get all sensitive when people be getting on y'all's ass about being distracted and about not being capable of winning
Mm-hmm.
or not being in the mindset to win consistently when you do BS like this. This team is so unserious. And because Jerry Jones is Jerry Jones, he creates headlines out of thin air. Abracadabra, he spits some BS and it's plastered all over my screen.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean, look,
give
it's
me a break.
it's the benefit and obviously the thing that Jerry loves, the attention and the fact that they are a big brand. A lot of the talking, the sports talk shows and all that love talking about them. Jerry loves that part of it. Unfortunately, Jerry, you need to win games as well. Otherwise, that attention is going to turn pretty negative quickly, which it kind of has this year. But it's just like, yeah, they look like a team that probably has tuned out Mike McCarthy. So they know that losing this season just gets him out of there faster. And Jerry's not going to replace all of them because he just gave CeeDee Lamb his deal. He gave Dak his money. I know Micah still needs his, but you kind of assume he's going to get his as well. So these guys are just like, they've checked out because they know next year they will have a spot. Mike McCarthy won't. And hopefully they get the coach in there that these players, I guess, want. Who that is, I have no idea. No clue.
Because anybody with some sense ain't going over there with Jerry on the borderline, being having borderline dementia, taking all this attention and making your job 1,000 times harder than what it already is.
Yeah.
Think about it. You're already in charge of 53 men, getting them ready through the week, getting game planning, making sure everything is a tight ship in order. There's no chaos coming out from the locker room. Making sure you're in tune with all your players. Can't talk to certain people this way. You got to talk to certain people a certain type of way. Some people respond to this. And then on top of this, you have an owner who says nonsense at 82 years old and makes your job 10,000 times harder.
Mm-hmm.
This team can win. What? This team couldn't win two pennies. What is he talking about?
Yeah. All while you're trying to do your job as a coach, and the owner has a direct line to the media with a radio show spot that he does faithfully every week. He goes on there, he breaks news. At, I feel like sometimes he just undermines your job as a whole. So I guess good luck to whoever takes that job next year. And Mike McCarthy may be glad that this is it for him. Now, whether or not he can get a job right away, or he might need to take some time to, I guess, rebuild his I don't know. I don't know. Because some of these teams love recycling guys anyway. But we'll see. We'll see with Mike McCarthy. What's going on? What? Danny's Cowboys Nation in the house. All right, what's going on? Appreciate you tuning in.
They
I mean,
allow names that long.
huh?
They allow names that long.
I guess I did not know that.
I did not know that. I'm
Yeah,
gonna try some too. Okay. Hey, how are you?
yeah. What's going on, Danny's Cowboys Nation in the house. There we go. Get it all out there. I guess just in time, we did just talk about the Cowboys, which I guess I'd love to hear from you how you feel about
Are you
your team.
tired of Michael Parsons?
Yeah, Micah
That's
Parsons,
all
Jerry
I'm.
Jones, CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, like any of them.
I know you're tired
Yes.
because I'm tired for you. The reasonable ones. The delusional people keep spinning in circles, and one day you'll wake up. But
Yeah.
the realist ones who see what's going on, I feel bad for y'all because I'm like, on Jerry's birthday, Detroit gave them a 42-point loss at home.
Yeah. And they kept showing
They've
Jerry
been
on
losing
TV
at,
too.
they've been losing like in the seven losses that they've had. Mind you, they're 3-2 when they're away. They're 0-5 at home.
Mm-hmm.
They're pathetic. Like, what?
And I think they put up the stat like their last six home games they've been down by like 20
Beat by
points at some
20.
point. That is wild to think about.
And the one that was close is because the other team that they played in the fourth quarter, they like to fall apart and get undisciplined and
Mm-hmm.
do stupid stuff. They get on my nerve too. We're not gonna mention them right now.
Right. Not right now. Yeah, so Danny would love to hear from you about how you feel about your Cowboys. In the meantime, we're going to move to another team that seemingly just loves dysfunction, the Jets. The good old Jets, the Aaron Rodgers Jets. Look, this Robert Saleh story that I guess we thought might have been dead got some new life this past week when we found out that Woody Johnson, I guess follow me here for a second. Woody Johnson, after the fourth game, didn't even want to wait, wanted to bench Aaron Rodgers. Robert Saleh, of all people, came to Aaron Rodgers' defense and said, I think it's a little too early, so they didn't do it. We know how the
But then
season
Robert
finished,
Saleh
right?
loses his job the next week.
I mean, it like you can't make this stuff up. So Robert Saleh, I guess, lost his job for backing up the guy in Aaron Rodgers, even though when it looked like on the sideline, Aaron Rodgers didn't really care much for Robert Saleh. And Woody Johnson, who obviously makes the decisions, decided to fire the coach because he wouldn't listen to him and bench Aaron Rodgers. Oh yeah, and the GM this past week lost his job due, his job too, in Joe Douglas. So yeah, the Jets have no GM. They will need a new coach, which now throw into to that. Rex Ryan gets asked about that, and Rex Ryan goes, I have unfinished business with the organization. So I guess Rex Ryan is now throwing his hat in the ring of wanting to be the coach of the Jets. And if you thought the Aaron Rodgers drama was one thing, Rex Ryan brings drama with him as well.
Everywhere he goes, everywhere.
I don't know. Look, as a Patriots fan, I love it because the Jets just keep getting in their own way. But this is just crazy at this point.
He will
And
clean up that defense. I will say that.
he will do that. That is true. But obviously, if he goes there, the question is going to be, who does he get to play? I guess not to play, but to be offensive coordinator, because that's going to be the side of the ball that I think might be the hardest to fix, especially if Aaron Rodgers is back. But oh wait, that's the other layer to this. There's
He
reports
might
that
not be
he's
back.
shocked if Woody Johnson would allow Aaron Rodgers back next year. So there's that. So maybe in all this, Woody Johnson is the only one who had a clear head and knew Aaron Rodgers ain't it. Do you guys have a link to do anything, you guys? I mean, Danny, we don't necessarily have one, but like I said, we would definitely appreciate your thoughts in the comments. Um, but yeah, so Rodgers won't be there. Well, they'd be shocked if Rodgers is back. Where would Aaron Rodgers even go after this?
To his couch, to the retirement home,
Yeah.
to Egypt, so he could be in a dark den and have all the ayahuasca that he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Off the planet of the earth. I'm so sick and tired of Aaron Rodgers. And but the Jets, they asked for this.
Yes.
I knew he got fired. He got solid fired. I didn't know in what capacity, but yeah, it was coming.
Right. Turns out Robert Sala's dedication to Aaron Rodgers is what actually got him fired. Yeah. Kind of crazy to think. Although I thought the same thing about Aaron Rodgers. If he's not with the Jets, he might as well retire. Part of me thinks there's a couple of teams that would love the attention of bringing on Aaron Rodgers. And I'll run a couple of teams by you. You tell me if you could see it happen. The Colts. You
Oh,
cannot
hell.
tell me that Jim Irsay would not be licking his
He
lips at
would do that.
Aaron Rodgers.
He would do that.
Yeah. Two, the Raiders. This has Vegas written all over it. I mean, they have Gardner Minshew, they have Aiden O'Connell. If you brought in Aaron Rodgers, that fan base could care less what he did with the Jets this year.
Are they bringing Devontae Adams back too?
That does kind of throw a wrench into it. But hey, Raiders fans probably would allow it. I mean, if you're Devontae Adams, you might be like,
No, I'm good.
yeah.
Go play in Pittsburgh or somewhere with a quarterback so you can get you a ring
Yeah. So
instead of following Eric's coattails.
Danny did answer the question that we had about him with the Cowboys. Cowboys stink so far. Who cares? I don't even care. They don't do anything because the GM is the problem. Bench Dak, get rid of Dak. Well, with that price tag, they're probably not going to get rid of him, but I hear what you're saying. I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a.
Jerry is the problem.
Yes. And like you said, that last interview he did, it sounded a little rambling and not really on point. It was kind of.
It was. It was like, what is he talking about? Within 15, 20 seconds, I'm like, get to the point, Jerry.
Yes.
What are you talking about, Jerry?
Mm-hmm.
They're not making sense, Jerry.
So Stephen Jones or whatever Jones family members around, gotta tell Jerry, you gotta give it up.
It might be time for him to sit down for real.
Yes, Like if you want to be in the stadium and root them on, sure, but yeah, that's about all. Danny also says bring in Deion Sanders, Shadur Sanders, his other son to the Cowboys. Get Jerry out of the way. One, I feel like Deion's more of a college guy. He has way more control there. Shadur and his brother. I guess if Deion will allow them to play in Dallas, that's possible. Although a lot of mock drafts I'm seeing have the Cowboys taking Genty, the running back out of Boise State, because where they are in the draft process, Shadur probably won't be there at that point. I mean, the other son, you could probably get him, but you probably wouldn't need a first round pick for him. So yeah, you have to kind of work some things to get all that to happen. But hey, Danny, you can dream. Jerry is a circus clown show. I mean, clown circus show. Yes, you're not going to get any pushback from me. Absolutely agree with you on that one. But yeah, I kind of laid all that out with the Jets. Yeah, like I don't know. I mean, Rex Ryan, sure. Like he actually wants the job. Why not? And like you said, if he goes in there, he automatically brings the defense back into focus. Now the question would just be offensively, and if Woody Johnson is, as he said, or as people are saying, shocked if Aaron Rodgers is back, so they're done with him. What do they do at the quarterback position?
Do
That's
not
gonna,
let Rex Ryan pick a quarterback. Do not do that.
yeah, because he'd
Don't
probably
do
bring like
that.
a person back. Okay, so Danny's like willing to get rid of everybody. He wants Parsons, Diggs, Zeke, all gone for Shadur, brother and father. I mean, Zeke
Now,
won't get you much, but Parsons and Diggs, I feel like that you could get something there.
now, if you're trying to trade up, because right now I know my team has a second pick.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to trade up to one or two, you're going to come off of Micah, and you're going to have to come off of Trayvon.
Mm-hmm.
One of, if not both. I'll take both of them. Because somebody in my locker room will punch Mike in the damn mouth.
Right. I feel like big man Simmons wouldn't allow Parsons
Yeah,
to do this kind of
he
stuff.
do enough talking. He don't need to.
Yeah. I mean, hey, that's interesting. Look, Danny, look, if get Jerry Jones on the line, let him know. Jory's let you know. Call up Tennessee. You can dangle Parsons out there, and you might have something in the works. Because yeah, if you want Shadur, you're gonna have to get up in the top three, most likely, to get him. Yeah, Mike
So
needs
he's
to go.
sick and tired of Michael.
Yes. Okay.
I
Look.
told you that Michael just needs a butt whoop. One good time. One good. And
Yeah.
not a just where they're just quiet. You got to speak in between each lick. Shut me up. He just need one of them. One good one.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Um. Yes. I guess. Did you have anything else you want to say about the Jets before we move on?
They deserve everything that's happening to him, to them.
Yeah.
Now I know Aaron Rodgers is not going to be happy that that story got leaked.
I was about to ask that. Yeah. Look, Jets might be must see TV this week. Now with all this out there, like we got to see Aaron Rodgers' body language the whole game. Danny said, "Yeah, that's what I do. I go live and talk about it." Oh yes, I mean, I kind of figured you were obviously a Cowboys content creator, so I'm sure they've given you a lot of content this year. I appreciate
Probably
that, Danny. Danny say just subscribed. Right, appreciate that, and hopefully you come back next week as well because we are here and we love pointing out Cowboys misfortune and dysfunction, as well as the Jets, a couple of other teams.
the
Like what
Jags.
we can talk about the Colts, the Jags, like Giants, although Giants, we can actually segue into the Giants, which Danny, fellow divisional rival. So I put on here that Daniel Jones got benched. It goes further than that. The man got released. I mean, he went from
That
clogging up
escalated.
it it got out of hand. Like he went from clogging up the salary cap, struggling on the field, benched. You're like, oh, maybe they're sending a message to just outright releasing him. Although according to the report, like Daniel Jones went and asked for the release, which probably lets you know that he might think there's a team ready to pick him up. I guess. Uh, I would think as a backup, I think his days as a starter are over for right now. But yeah, are you surprised that the Giants actually went ahead and just got rid of him?
No, because they did it 2 seasons too late.
Right.
We've
Well, I
been
guess,
there with Daniel.
but because of that, did you think he was going to like finish the season and then they were going to try to address it at that point? But like doing it now, where
No,
you the timing, I guess I should say.
I mean, because then I think about it. Like before the season, they said Dayball and company were safe.
Hmm.
If that is true, you gotta let Dayball draft his own quarterback. You gotta give him at least
Yes.
a fair shot at drafting a quarterback.
Yes.
Because he's had nothing but incompetence and somebody with air between the ears at quarterback who makes an occasional wonderful play, but who can also scamper down the field for 80 yards and trip on his own 2 feet. I didn't forget that.
Hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's pretty embarrassing. So Danny says checking in from Santa Monica, California. I mean, appreciate that, Danny.
It's
Um,
about 6 o'clock over there, ain't it? Sun is
yeah,
still probably up.
yeah, it's like 6:22 over there. But yeah, I mean, I was surprised at the timing because like you said, it went benched and then like the next day release. I think for Dayball, if like you said, if ownership is correct and honest with Dayball saying that he was safe, then this is the best news Dayball's had. Because I think the worry was Daniel Jones was going to continue to go out there, continue to sink the ship so much that Dayball might have gotten jettisoned out of town. But if we're going to take the owner at his word, this is a step to allow Dayball, like you said, to look at the draft and go, that's the guy I want. I'll get him here, and we'll start the process over with. They got Malik Neighbors from last year. I think defensively they still have some pieces on there you can work with. The quarterback position was the biggest issue. So
In the
now,
line.
yes, in the line as well. But if Dayball is allowed to bring in a quarterback, that now kind of resets the timer on Dayball because you can't obviously expect him to just turn it around overnight with a rookie quarterback. Because for every Jaden Daniels, there are Anthony Richardsons that need time. So I think it's interesting to see like who would Dayball target in the draft.
And
I
I'm
mean, I've
not
seen
giving
some.
Anthony Richardson slack.
Well, yes, but I've seen some mock drafts saying Shadur Sanders to New York.
I don't even think Brom lets that happen.
That's the thing, because that's like the story from a couple of months ago where Dion's made it kind of clear he's only going to allow his kids to play in certain cities. I don't know if New York's one of them.
It's not. Because both franchises are dysfunctional.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Danny said yes because he isn't worth it because Aaron Rodgers needs to retire. So does that quarterback from Miami. Tua. Also, Tua is going to get hurt in Miami.
I'm gonna respect Tua and his words and what he said. I'm not gonna say he needs to retire. I'm gonna respect the man in that because he's like he still wants to play. But he does need to take care of himself better.
Yes, because there's been a few times he's dove head first.
So he
I'm
already
like,
took another one. He took another lick to the chops. I'm like, Tua, did you not learn from the previous time you took a lick to the chops like that? Quit running
Yeah,
into people's knees.
yeah. But look, he's made it through a couple of games, so we'll see if he can keep it up. Uh, and then Danny reiterated, bring Shadur to the Cowboys. Well, hey, I guess it's between you and the Giants fighting for Shador's services.
Give me Michael Parsons and Trayvon Diggs in a pass of practice, and you got this. You can have my pick.
Like I said,
No, both of them. I want a second. I want a third, and I want a six. That's what I would want if
that's
you
the
want to
thing.
move up to two.
Yeah, if you
Two
you sitting there
thirds.
with the second pick, you can get good amount of picks as well. Remember to yes, we remember that lasting image of him on the ground. I'd like to think when he steps on the field, that image is in the back of his mind as well. But so far, he's made it a couple weeks. I still don't like the fact he's not wearing the Guardian cap, but that's his personal choice. Yeah, kind of like you said, Jory, you gotta respect his wishes at this point. So yeah, you can just hope that he keeps himself safe.
Because when he
Not
says
necessarily for
certain
them,
things with such convention and saltiness in his tone, I'm like, I'm not going to sit there and go there with him.
right?
Because I'm like,
Yeah,
clearly it's touching him, and he just wants to be left alone about it.
yeah.
So I'm like, you do what you want, but I want you to take better care of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Danny agreed. All right, so yes, Daniel Jones benched. We'll see where he ends up. There's rumors that he could end up in San Francisco. I think there's rumors he could end up in LA with the Rams. We'll see. All right. Next up, the NFL released their Hall of Fame finalists, and we've gotten to the point where a lot of the guys that are coming up for the Hall of Fame are players that a lot of us grew up watching, saw their careers play out, saw them retire, and now they're getting through the process. And there's some big names, of course, that are on there. So I feel like, Jory and I can give some quick thoughts on some of these guys that are trying to get in. Okay, Danny saying first, third round pick.
No, because you would literally have to move up all the way up to either two or three.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who's going one? Well, Hunter's going one, 9 times out of 10.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just Dura is going to go either two or three. A first and a third is not going to be enough to get you all the way up to the top of the draft board. You're going to have to give up two firsts, a second, maybe a third, and maybe two later round picks. A later round pick. You're going to have to give up. You're going to have to
Mm-hmm.
fold the franchise for it to go up to two or three.
Yeah. Yeah, because one mock I saw was like CBS Sports. Yes, they had Travis Hunter going to Jacksonville at one. They have Tetairoa McMillan going to the Titans at two. He's like
What
the
is
star
if
wide
you?
receiver out of Arizona.
I don't need any wide receivers. I need tackles. We don't. This
That's
is
the
not a
thing.
tackle heavy cash class. That was last year.
I mean, CBS says it'd be another playmaker to pair with Calvin Ridley. That's their reasoning. We'll see if that plays out. They have Cam Ward to Cleveland at three. They have Shadur going to the Giants at four. Then Will Johnson to the Vegas at five. Patriots taking a tackle at six. Tackle at LSU. I'd be down for that. The Jets taking a D lineman out of Michigan, Mason Graham at seven. Carolina would take the edge rusher from Georgia. Hmm. So Danny, as a Cowboys fan, they have, like I said, Ashton Genty, the running back out of Boise State, at pick 9 going to the Cowboys. So yeah, you're gonna be fighting with some teams if you wanted to move up, but yeah, first and the third, I mean, that's a good starting point. Probably have to add on to it. Yeah, like I said, the Hall of Fame ballot. Um, so I found something where it just says like the notable players. I don't know, Jory, if you have the full list or not, but
I got
basically
it.
big names coming up. Luke Kuechly, linebacker from Carolina. Marshall Yonda, who was the like All Pro, I think it was a guard with the Ravens. Adam Vinatieri, we know Patriots fame, Colts fame. Joe Staley, left tackle from Cleveland, who was a stalwart there during his time. Marshawn Lynch, him and the Skittles, he's up. Uh, Look, if Marshawn Lynch got in, that acceptance speech might be like Hall of Fame level. Like, I could only imagine what that guy would say. Eli Manning, yes, the other Manning, the Giants, whatever. If you guys seen enough, you know how I feel about Eli Manning. Darren Sproles, little man, you know, he look. Darren Sproles had a really good career for his stature with San Diego. I think San Diego's what he's more known for, but he had a couple other spots in there. Clay Matthews, the Packer linebacker. Terrell Suggs, edge guy from Baltimore. So those are the notable guys. There's some other ones that are in there as well. So I guess when you hear, I guess the notable ones
Mm,
about who stands out to you from that list. Like, what are your initial thoughts with those guys that I just mentioned?
I'm getting old. I'm getting really old because I was a tot when some of these players were playing. Well, not that.
Mm.
No, I was not a tot, but I was young. Then I look at um who else was I'm surprised Antonio Gates hasn't gotten in yet, but you know how the Hall of Fame is. Eli Manning, if he gets in on the first go round, I don't want to hear anything when Matt Ryan gets in on the first go round. I don't want to hear it
I'm
because
there with
Eli
you,
Manning is literally getting in because he beat the Patriots and Tom Brady twice. That's it.
which that was Michael Strahan and those guys, but yes, he was the quarterback of those teams.
And if Terrell Suggs isn't first ballot, I don't know what first ballot is.
I mean, he definitely had a Hall of Fame worthy career. I doubt he's going to be a first ballot guy to get in. I mean, looking at the names I mentioned, I'm trying to think who would probably be like locks. I could see Joe
Mm,
Staley. Joe Staley was pretty dominant when he played. Vinatieri would be interesting because I think Vinatieri has the moments that you remember that I could see him getting in first time. But he also is a kicker. I don't know how well kickers are,
yeah,
perceived with the.
Vinatieri, he could get in.
Hmm.
Ray Lewis is already in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
He was
Kuechly's
getting in on the first go
interesting.
round.
Yeah, Kuechly's interesting because Kuechly had injuries kind of shorten his career, but he
Yeah.
was he was a good one as well.
You know, Earl Thomas is supposed to be a semifinalist, but I'm like, he's not making it because how he ended his career, acting a fool.
You imagine when he does get in his speech as well. Sometimes he might get real petty with his speech.
He will.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the list now. You know, the fact that Hines Ward still hasn't made it in, I'm like, what is with these voters?
I I mean, yes. I don't know if it's because Hines Ward wasn't the flashiest wide receiver. So I kind of think maybe that's allowed him to slip through a little bit. But I mean, look, he made the catches that were needed. He was tough. Like that dude, as a wide receiver and him blocking, like he was as good as I'd seen. Like he did whatever it took to win. But like I said, he just wasn't flashy enough. So I think that's why he's kind of falling through. But he's eventually gonna get it. Danny said
Another
Darren
thing
Wood
about
is Darren Woodson
I'm
not?
not. Yeah, he's a semifinalist, but the years that he played, I was not around, or I was 1 and 2. So I don't know how he played. Y'all gonna have to fill me in on that.
Um, no, I mean Woodson definitely has the credentials. Like I know he was like a multi-time Pro Bowler. He was an All-Pro guy multitude of times. Um, I think he's up there in like Cowboys franchise history in terms of some stats as well. So he's definitely, yeah, he's definitely worthy of getting in. Now, like I said, the crazy thing is going to be the classes from like here on out are going to be filled with a lot of people that because like Fran Tarkenton and guys like that get into the Hall of Fame. We didn't watch them. We don't know anything about them. But all these players we know. So now it's going to be kind of interesting to see, how we decipher these and kind of pick who we think should get in. Because I mean, look,
Funny,
looking at the defensive backs, huh?
it's funny because I don't know Woodson, but I can vaguely remember Ricky Waters.
Ricky Waters. I mean, yeah, because looking at the running backs, you have Fred Taylor and Ricky Waters. Fred Taylor always seemed underrated to me. Ricky Waters was, I mean, he was
I
kind of
vaguely
legit in
remember,
San Francisco. Yeah, he played a little
but
Philly, but I think San Francisco's more the time that people remember. Yeah, he was pretty good. I don't think he gets in this time around, but yeah, kind of weird that Eli
I
Manning is
only
the
saw
only
him play when
quarterback
he was
that's
in
up.
Seattle. I only saw him play. I was only alive to see him play when he was in Seattle.
Yeah, the wide receiver group, interesting. Anquan Bolden, I've always been an Anquan Bolden fan. Torrey Holt, Steve Smith Sr., always been a fan of his. Hines Ward, Reggie Wayne. That's a really good wide receiver class. I mean, I don't know, man. Like Smith and Hines Ward and Bolden were three really tough wide receivers. I don't think Steve Smith gets in right now. I honestly don't think Bolden does. If I'm Bolden, I would love to see Hines Ward get in now because that probably makes his case a little better.
Hmm.
Antonio Gates, like you mentioned, is the only tight end that's on there. I mean, O linemen are O linemen. Like I said, yeah, defensive backs, Darren Woodson, Earl Thomas, Rodney Harrison's going to be an interesting case as well, and Eric Allen. Eric Allen was pretty good as well. James Harrison's up as well as a linebacker.
This is his third time. I don't know why he wasn't in for the first go round.
I think it's just because the classes that he was with right away.
Well, he gonna get in
I mean,
this
as a
year. I
Patriots
promise you, he should get in this year. If he don't, I'm boycotting. Because James Harrison was oddly entertaining.
fan, it's
Just
a tough
me.
class to decipher now. Because like I'm a Patriots fan, I would love to see Vince Wilfork get in, but he didn't play the most glamorous position either. He was like a two gap D tackle. I think it's gonna
He
take him some.
deserves to be in.
He does, yes. But when you're looking at
He
Jared Allen and
added
Robert
the
Mathis,
overall.
yeah, right. But I mean, when you're looking at that group, though, the only thing is Jared Allen and Robert Mathis were pass rushers. Vince Wilfork was a space eater. So I don't know if he's gonna get necessarily the recognition this time around either. Danny asked Rookie Waters exactly what happened to him. That I don't know. Mm-hmm. I'm trying. Actually, when do they make their? That doesn't say when they make like the. I mean, I guess we wait now for the selections to see who
Yeah.
does make it. But now, like, yeah, from here going forward, the names are gonna hit differently for our generations selectively. Because, like I said, some of these on here, you said like you were a little bit younger to really remember a lot about them. But that just means the upcoming classes, you'll start seeing names and be like, oh
Because
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
already
that.
seeing these names that I'm remembering.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Anquan Boulders, the Steve Smith seniors, Keekly. Of course, who could forget Eli Manning? He's such an
Yeah.
unforgettable character. He is hilarious. Um, Hines Ward, I remember him because when I was little, watching the Steelers game on the TV with my grandma, I just know that man had a lot of hair,
Mm-hmm.
and people would try to pull his hair to tackle him. I'm like, I told my grandma, I said, if I was Hines, I'd turn around and slap the crap out of somebody pulling my hair to try to tackle me. Do it right and stop trying to cheat.
Yeah, yeah. You don't really see that as much now because there's a few guys who had that issue. I think Derrick Henry had it a little. Uh, CJ2K had that issue, but now it's like you don't. Yeah, not that much anymore.
Like, quit being lazy. Learn how to tackle.
I mean, look for some of these guys, like it was something to grab. We know some of these guys when they tackle, it's like they close their eyes and just grasp and hope to bring down somebody. All right, so I think we can move on. Like I said, if they whenever they make the decision on who the Hall of Fame class will be, we will obviously revisit this and I guess give our thoughts on those players as well. But now let's get into our team reports. So, for those of you who might be new, like Danny, uh, Jory is a Titans fan. I'm a Patriots fan. So we kind of take a few moments out of our show for Jory to kind of, I guess, kind of get us set up for the Titans' next game and like stuff going on, how she feels about it. And then I do the same with my Patriots. So go ahead with your Titans.
Oddly, I feel good going against Houston. One, Houston looks
Okay.
gettable. Two, I get what they did to Cowboys, but I know the record doesn't say it. But we're better than Cowboys. Period.
Mm-hmm.
I will say Will Levis he's played his best game he's had in a while. But like, cause in the last game, had it not been for this freckle face named Cleat, that man would
Yeah.
have went had like 300 yards and two more touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, them refs cost my team 18 freaking points. 18! And it was a 10-point loss. That game is not even close.
Yeah.
Called
I mean, look,
BS stupid flags.
yeah, I know Cleat
Especially the
is
one in the end zone. That
that one was
roughing,
brutal.
unnecessary roughing. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to throw my laptop at the wall. And then he doubled down. He was launching. Duh, that's the point of a tackle. He launched into his chest, not his helmet, you prick.
Yeah.
I'm like, with a
Well,
name
I guess we'll just
named
say
Cleat, I try to.
Cleet's not
My
going to get a
mama named
Christmas
me
card
Cleat.
party.
Yeah, if my mama named me Cleat, I would try to ruin everybody else's life too. He looked like a cleat, blind butt. And then he always calling um illegal formation on my team, but Minnesota was doing the exact same stuff, and he ain't calling not now once on theirs. That's why I'm like,
Yeah.
if Callahan would have let Cleat have it in the press conference, I would have donated a penny, like $30 to the fund. To the fund.
Mm-hmm.
Like, damn, that was brutal. Because we have played well all game. And that's why I have confidence going into this one. If they can build on that, stay disciplined, Jarvis stay disciplined. If the special teams cannot act a freaking fool every time, I'd be fine. But we're really not that far off. It's just hard to watch.
I mean, any season where uh, have a losing record, yeah, it's always going to be tough. Um, yeah, I mean, look, I agree with you. The Texans have been up and down, even with the record that they have. Like they've allowed teams opportunities to beat them or stay in the game or just like give them the opportunity to change the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see why you would be confident, especially with the way Will Levis has played the past couple of games. Like you said, the key for Will Levis has been the turnovers. He
And the
hasn't.
airhead plays.
Yeah. So if he can do that, then yeah, you should have a chance to win against most teams in the league. So I think it's fair. So I guess, I mean, we'll see when we get to our picks if that's a game you decide to pick. We'll see. I don't know. But okay. So look, that's the conclusion for your Titans report.
Mm-hmm.
You are
I'm
encouraged.
sorry about the rant about the ref. That just pissed me off because it was 2 weeks in a row that I've had outcomes of games decided by freaking referees.
Mm-hmm. I
Two.
understand. Yeah. Like I said, I saw the play in the end zone, and it was not a flag. He led with the shoulder, hit the guy in the chest. That's as clean as you can hit somebody in 2024. So I agree. I understand the resentment on that call.
And I'm
Like that.
glad. Yes, and I'm glad Callahan took that flag because they was already half the distance to the goal anyway. Why not chew out the ref while you get it?
Yeah.
Why not? Because he deserved it.
Yeah. And look, if there's anything learned about Callahan his first season, he's got fire on the sideline. Oh, it's the unofficial third member. What's going on, Bella?
Clearly, she's feeling better.
Yes. I mean, look, anytime Bella wants to make an appearance on the show, always a spot for her. All right. So I guess we'll get into my Pats report. So they're coming off a loss to the Rams. I thought Drake May did well in that game. He continues to show every week with his ability to escape sacks and plays that he's making with his arm. Like he is definitely the guy to build around going forward. And that takes a weight off myself as a Patriots fan, knowing that next draft, don't have to hear talk about needing a quarterback. Now you can focus on the line, wide receivers, whatever. I'm perfectly okay with that. I thought it was interesting that during the game they said Drake May was like a big fan of Matt Stafford, and then I saw him make a couple of throws that did remind you a little bit of Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
And look, if his career turns out to be Matt Stafford, fine. I'm here for it.
You
Now
might
this
get a
weekend,
Super Bowl out of him if he could. Look at what the
hey,
Rams did.
exactly. So I'm definitely here for that. They keep talking about him becoming more and more of a leader. Love hearing that as well. Now
He
the
is
attention turns
slippery.
to, and I did not know he had that in him. I knew he ran a little bit in North Carolina, but like he is eluding would be sacks just with the quickest moves with his feet, and he's keeping his eyes downfield and he's making plays off of it. I know the interception he threw down the middle that ended the game. A lot of people were looking at that play. I honestly don't think he made the wrong read. It was just that Pop Douglas, the wide receiver, was like surprised by the throw and didn't get his head around fast enough. So those are things that you understand can happen in a rookie season. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that.
He'll learn.
Yes, and he kind of lets you know after the game, like he'll talk about it and say like it was a mistake and something he'll learn from. So I love all the speak from him. This week now it's the Dolphins' second game. First game Tua didn't play, and that was the game where Jalen Polk had the touchdown taken away because it's a rule that's been there. I haven't seen it really as an example on the field that if you catch a pass in the back of the end zone with your back to the back of the end zone, you have to get both heels in play for it to be a catch. Jalen Polk got one heel down, the second heel landed
They
out of
got the
bounds.
Ravens for that too.
Yes, and it's weird that we've seen that play out a couple of times this year. But anyway, second game, Tua's back. Uh, Obviously, you still got to corral Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Hopefully, Yannick Ngakoue actually gets on the field this week because obviously you want to get pressure on Tua because if you allow him to just stand back there, he'll probably make plays. I, like you, am encouraged about the Patriots going into this weekend for sure. I definitely think that they are playing well enough that they're not the worst team in the league, which I think a couple of weeks ago some people thought that they were. Like they are capable enough to beat NFL teams. And the Dolphins have their own issues. So, yeah, I think they have a real shot to win this weekend.
I have somebody that's getting ready to bark.
Oh,
Give me
okay.
just a second.
That's all
Please
right.
don't bark.
That's good.
Um, but yeah, even with I'm not sold on the Dolphins. I think they're
Yeah.
just a bunch of frauds. Notice how Mike McDaniels has all that to say about
Oh, yeah,
be
Max
quiet,
Crosby.
Kobe, about Max Crosby.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't even call a play, Max, but didn't say anything to Josh Allen.
Right.
Be quiet. Oh, corny fraud.
Yeah. Like if you want to know why I've said before, I think Mike McDaniel has a lot of front running tendencies. You could look at that clip and see why. We didn't get any clips like that when Tua was out and they were losing. He was a guy on the sideline that looked like he had lost his best friend. But now Tua's back, they're winning a game. He's got all this energy. So I agree with you. It's whatever.
You
But
beat the Raiders, beat the Bills, and then do all of that. You beat the
yeah,
Raiders who don't have a quarterback.
yeah, yeah. But then again, that Raiders team did beat the Ravens. So, but
And
yeah,
that's the Ravens issue right there. That's
yes,
exactly what a microcosm right there.
yes. But grand scheme of things, yes, not necessarily a game that you should be just boasting about. But so yeah, every week the two of us kind of give our quick thoughts on our teams. So those have been our Titans report and Patriots report. So now we can move to picks. So last week, if you forgot, these are the picks that we had going in. Jory had the Lions over the Jags. She had the Packers over the Bills. Bills over the Chiefs. Steelers over the Rams. I wait, no, that's wrong. Steelers over the Ravens. I put Rams twice. I guess the Ravens hate was so deep I couldn't even type their name. But Steelers over the Ravens, and then Pats over the Rams. I can tell you right now, you went 4-1. The only one you missed was Pats over the Rams.
Of course.
Yeah, right. Of course. Yes, of course. My team's the one that screws up your perfect week. Now, on the other hand, my week was brutal because I took the Texans over the Cowboys. I took the Niners over the Seahawks, the Browns over the Saints, Falcons over the Broncos, and the Bengals over the Chargers. I went 1-4. The 49ers choked that game away, but they have their own issues of doing that this season. I completely misread the Browns against the Saints, but they could then turn around and beat the Steelers. Go figure them out. The
And then the
Falcons
Falcons,
completely no-showed against Denver, which I told myself in the back of my mind they could do. I wanted to give them more credit, learn my lesson. And then the Bengals, well, the
the
Bengals.
defense.
Yes, against the Chargers. So I went 1-4. You went 4-1. Where does that leave us? You are now 28-24. I'm 23-29. You now have a 5-game lead over me. Might be insurmountable, but we still have a few weeks left. So we'll see how this all turns out. So now looking at week 12, sorry. These are the games that we will be choosing from. So just to let you all know, we're going to take 3 games where we pick a favorite that we like this week, and then 1 upset. Last week we ended up taking 2 upsets, but that's kind of how we're going to do this. Teams on a bye, so obviously teams we can't pick. The Falcons, the Bills, the Bengals, the Saints, Jets, and the Jaguars are all off this week. I mean, to be honest with you, neither one of us would probably take the Jags, Jets, Saints against anybody. So we're not losing anything there. So a little bit less games to choose from, but we have the Vikings as a road favorite traveling to Chicago to face the Bears. You have the Lions, who are a road favorite, heading to Indy to face the Colts. The Dolphins are a home favorite against the Patriots, who are heading down to Miami. The Bucks have an interesting game as the road favorite facing against the Giants, fresh off the Daniel Jones stuff. We'll see what they look like. The Commanders are a home favorite over those Cowboys we mentioned earlier. Danny's Cowboys. Love to know if you're picking your Cowboys to win that game. We have the Chiefs as a road favorite going to Carolina to face the Panthers. No surprise there. Jory's Titans are actually the underdog, heading down to Houston to face the Texans. The Broncos are a road favorite against the Raiders. The Packers are a home favorite against the 49ers, who today Kyle Shanahan said Brock Purdy is out and Brandon Allen will be starting. You might be saying who? Yes, Brandon Allen. The Cardinals are a road favorite heading to Seattle to face the Seahawks. The Eagles are a road favorite facing the Rams out in LA. And the Ravens are a road favorite heading out to LA to face the Chargers in the Harbaugh Bowl. And I'll let you know, both of us are more fans of Jim than John. Just letting you know. So yeah, Jory, with this selection, where are you looking to go, I guess, with your 3 favorite and then your upset pick?
So I'm going to go Commanders over Dallas.
Okay.
I'm just going to pick the Lions every week because that's a give me. Sorry.
That's safe space there.
And it's like, I want to pick. I thought about the Dolphins, but I'm like, this is the perfect game. Knowing that I know it's going to be cold in Florida for once.
Right.
That they mess up. So I'm not going to pick them.
Okay.
I'm still scared about picking the Cardinals.
I think that's yeah. I think it's safe.
So I'm gonna go Eagles over Rams as my last one.
Okay.
And then my upset is gonna be Homerism 101, Titans over Texans.
Okay. Titans over Texans. Okay. And those of you tuning in, I am going to try to remember to finally put these up on the page. It's been a couple weeks since I've been able to, didn't have the time to do it, but these picks I will definitely get up there on the um, network page as well as our Tumblr page, which is in the description for our articles and all that. What's going on, Paul? Tuning in. Despise not the day of good luck. Okay. Appreciate that, Paul. Um, so yeah, Paul, just tuning in. We're making our picks. Jory's made her three favorite picks with Commanders over the Cowboys, Lions over the Colts, Eagles over the Rams, and her upset Titans over the Texans. So now I'm gonna sit here and go with. I guess I'll take the low hanging fruit on this one, only because I need to get some wins because I'm falling further behind. I'm gonna take the Chiefs over the Panthers, even though wouldn't it be a Chiefs thing to allow the Panthers to hang around
Lose.
and just lose that one? But I will take them in this one. I will go with. I mean, no Brock Purdy. I'll take the Packers over the 49ers. I think the Packers are a good team. I don't know what Brandon Allen's going to bring to the table, even though because it's a Shanahan system, I'm sure he'll look pretty good. But I think for the Packers, this is probably a game they had circled on their calendar. So I think they're going to be up for this one and want to put forth a good showing to kind of let people know that they can contend in the NFC. So I'll take the Packers off of that. Last one, I really want to go Vikings over the Bears, but NFC North games are crazy, and the Bears actually look a little more competent now with Waldron gone, I guess. And the Vikings are the Vikings. Can be a little iffy with them. Even with the Giants mess, I think the Buccaneers are themselves. I don't want to touch that game at all. I'll I'll take I'll take the Broncos over the Raiders. I think Bo Nix has surpassed my expectations so far. I think the Broncos are just a better team right now. The Raiders have a lot of issues. I know some people have been talking about like Antonio Pierce being gone after the season. I think that would be a bit of a mistake because the Raiders, they don't have a quarterback. I can't evaluate a coach without a quarterback. So I don't think it would make sense to move on from him, but I know the rumors are out there. Turns of an upset. Do I let the hate flow and take the Chargers over the Ravens? Why not? Let's go
Do
big.
it.
I'm going to take the Chargers over the Ravens. And I do think with the struggles that the Ravens have in the secondary, I think Herbert is more than capable enough to take advantage of that. I think the Chargers will play tough, physical football, which I think most years plays into the Ravens' hands because they like to do the same thing. But the Ravens love getting cute at the wrong times and blowing games. This is a game on Monday night. That seems like one of those times where Harbaugh and Munkin love to get cute on national TV. I don't think you're going to do that against Jim Harbaugh. I mean, maybe because it's his brother, maybe John will be more locked in. But if you're gonna give me one Harbaugh to trust in, I'll trust in Jim. So I'll take the Chargers as my upset over the Ravens.
Look, it's a great day when the Featherbrands lose.
Yes, it absolutely is. So just to recap our picks once again, Jory, who now has a 5-game lead over me, has Commanders over the Cowboys, Lions over the Colts, Eagles over the Rams, upset, Titans over the Texans. I've got the Chiefs over the Panthers, Packers over the 49ers, Broncos over the Raiders, and my upset, Chargers over Ravens. So obviously you guys have to come back next week to see how we did.
Watch
Did
Miami
I close the
lose.
gap? I would love nothing more than to see Miami lose.
Because you know they forget how to tackle when it get cold.
Yes. I mean, I kind of want to know what the actual forecast is for that game.
Because it's cold down here. Too cold
Right.
for me.
That is true. Hold on, let me. I'm intrigued by this now. I mean, first things first. I just opened the ESPN and Denver's losing by 14 to Dallas. So there's that.
There's that.
Yeah. The weather looks like as we hit this. It's gonna be 77 degrees.
Oh.
Well,
Why they get the warm weather and we get the cold snap? I'm
I mean, I
tired.
don't know. It's Miami. I guess Miami gets all the luck, but all right. So I guess they should get a good performance since it's gonna be warm. But look, crazy good things have happened. So yeah, will I be able to close the gap on Jory's 5-game lead, or do we come back here next week and Jory has extended it even further? But that is all we do have. But before we get out of here, definitely have to remind you all to go ahead and check out our Tumblr page for the show. We have some articles up there. I will say I need to get back to doing some. So I'm going to try to
Me
get
too.
an article up. Yeah, I'm going to try to get one up this weekend for sure. So if you want some more content from the show, make sure you go there, check us out, give us a follow. We greatly appreciate that as well. But yeah, so I mean, Jory, anything you want to add before we get out of here?
Actually, I do have an article coming out. It's about the mid-season reports from like week 1 through like 10, like where divisions get report cards. Where does your team wind up? What did they get? There are a couple of Fs. There
Mm-hmm.
are a couple of Fs and an F minus.
There you go.
But it is something you have to pay attention to. And then I have another episode of Jory Sports Stories coming out soon, within the next week.
All right. Yeah. So you won't only find Jory on this show. She has her personal channel. Make sure you show some support. Jory Sports Stories for sure. And yeah, look out for that article because look, Danny and Paul, you love to know what grade your team is going to get for the midseason. You might agree, you might disagree, but you got to check out the article when it's up. Um, for me, like I said, I'm a try to get an article up this weekend. I can't necessarily give you any spoiler or anything as to what it's going to be on. Not necessarily sure yet, but it's going to be should be interesting. I also have my channel, Chomping at the Bit, that if you, I guess, like us on here, want to support us on our personal channels, you can go there as well. Have a couple of videos that I put out today. Go check those out. But yeah, that's all we got for you. So make sure you guys are back next week for another episode of Passion and Precision. Because look, if this is your first time around, like Danny, you saw how it goes. We got some rants, got some jokes, make some picks, and for the most part, you get Bella at some point. Hey, Bella. So yeah, appreciate you all. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you all next week. Make sure you like our video, follow, subscribe, Integrity Sports Network, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Greatly appreciate it. That way you'll know when the channel goes live because we do have other shows on here with other people on the channel as well. So show some support as well. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hopefully your team wins. Unless you're a Dolphins fan, then I hope you lose. And if you are a Texans fan, Jory hopes you lose this week as well. So other than that,
And y'all stink. Oh,
there you go.
and before we start, if you're a Texans fan, please, please quit your crying about the Titans. Quit it about the Oilers. We go through this twice a year.
Mm-hmm.
Twice a year. Give it a rest. Y'all didn't want to build Bud Adams a new stadium in Houston. He took his talents to Nashville. They became the Tennessee Oilers. Since we want to forget that part of history before they became the Tennessee Titans. Thank you. That was my public service announcement.
Yes. I actually completely forgot about the yes because Houston did have the Oilers, and then yeah. So Jory's words: you dropped the ball. Get over it. But yeah, so enjoy the games. We'll be back next week with some more NBA talk and some NFL talk. We'll have a lot of fun. Hopefully, you join us as well. So be safe, and we'll see you next week. Friday night, around 8, sometimes 9. Just make sure you follow and subscribe. That way you'll know when we go live.
Yeah.
But yes, that's the safest way. So be safe, and we'll see you next